Yo, metalheads, do you want to see something cool? So when I was building the Kraken sculpture that I named The Deep Sleep, I had to keep track of everything that I did, and I did so meticulously. In the very beginning, I created a spreadsheet, and I was able to fill that out and keep track of everything that I did for the sculpture from day one. Every minute I spent on it, every process, every tool I used, I used that to keep track of everything that I was working on. And guess what? It got a perfect score. It was worth 250 points of the final scoring, and I'll get into that later.
There's many reasons why I obsessed over the details of this notebook, and it wasn't just about meeting the rules, it was about telling the whole story, even in the margins. Every page has a hand-drawn border with a ship in one corner and a Kraken in the other, and those little lines and dashes, well, that's Morse code. It spells out SOS. It's hidden in plain sight across the entire binder. That's the kind of detail that most people won't catch, but that's also the point. This binder right here helped me take gold at districts, gold at states, and bronze at nationals in the post-secondary SkillsUSA Welding Sculpture competition for 2025. Yeah, it's just a 3-ring binder until you realize it's scored a perfect 250 out of 250. The sculpture itself pulled a 94.3%. Judged across 24 categories. Not bad for a nightmare myth dragged into reality one weld at a time. SkillsUSA doesn't just want to see what you built, they want proof that you didn't just glue nuts to a horseshoe and call it art. The binder had to be under 60 pages, submitted in print and digitally, and follow a checklist tighter than the torque spec on a bolt pulling 9 Gs in an F-18 Hornet. Rules were very specific as to what needed to be inside the notebook. Here's what they wanted. It needed a table of contents, a verification letter from the school signed and stamped, and at least 10 process photos showing me doing the work. Not just posing like some stock photo welder pretending to adjust the helmet with no gloves on. Proof photos from local and state competitions to show I didn't just pull the Kraken out of the warehouse last minute. Drawings in rough dimensions, also known as the chicken scratch that somehow became a monster. They also wanted to see some supporting documentation that basically said, yes, I really did do this, and this is how I didn't die doing it. How I approached it was I built this entire thing using national level guidelines right from day one, because I wasn't just showing up for a participation ribbon. Each level of competition has its own rules, but I built this like I was already going to nationals. It wasn't just prep, it was premeditated execution. All in, this project took nearly 500 hours. 280 of those hours were fabrication, cutting, welding, grinding, fitting, and probably bleeding a little bit. The rest, that went into design, sketching, documenting, photo sessions, and building this binder beast. I didn't just want to check the boxes, I wanted to drag people into the story. This binder reads like a cursed C-scroll mixed with a fabrication manual. And yeah, it pushed me to the edge, but with dedication and a newfound purpose, this is what we can do. A few pages were pulled out of this version, mostly school-required signature sheets and competition administration stuff that looks about as exciting as a video on a tax form. Everything else, this is the real deal. The same binder they flipped through at nationals. When I first started this project, I was taking photos. It was all the way up until the district level where I decided that I was going to start actually recording it. So what I was able to do is the very beginning of the notebook was only still photos that I had to take myself. So what I was able to do was I was able to pull the still photos out of the video and include those. Now those are the cooler looking shots. Those are the ones you see with the sparks flying and everything else, because that stuff's kind of really hard to do when you're trying to film everything, record everything, work on it, plan everything out in your head. It's like, this thing really drove me insane. So I went from 500 hours worth of stuff to 280 hours worth of fabricating. So that fabrication time was where I pulled the information from, the videos. And I had to go through for each photo that was used, it had to have a caption explaining what you were doing, what the process was. There's definitely a method to my madness, and I have a lot of that footage that I'm going to be building another video out of that showcases the entire build. You can see some of it looking through the images in this video, but I actually have real footage of me working on it that I'll be putting a video together. I'm working on it now, but it won't be out for probably a couple days or so. My final score was 887 out of 1005, and that was for the overall project. This binder didn't just support the sculpture, it helped the Deep Sleep earn its place on the national stage. It may be forged in steel, but this is the myth, the method, and the madness told on paper. And as always, thanks for watching, and be sure to follow me on my other social media platforms.
If you are looking for custom orders or a large variety of other items, they are all available on our website. We build everything from small dogs to full-size wall-mounted deer heads and everything in between.